Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Go.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started.
I'm out.
Hopefully, y'all had a great day today.
I'm out.
It wouldn't be allegedly because he was charged.
Welcome to Speak. I'm out. Welcome to Speak. I'm out.
Why, those must be some good wings.
I'm out. Who You With Kurt Dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm out. Who You With Kurt Dog. We finally made it on tonight. Man, this has been a hell of a day trying to get this computer update. Been doing it since 5:20. I'm just not getting on. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things that we're not going to be on here long because 5 o'clock come early. So, but we are going to talk about a couple of things tonight. Dealing with some local stuff and also some national stuff. Larayah Foreman, 16-year-old that was shot and killed Sunday here in the Metroplex. We're going to hit on that story a little bit. And then also Jennifer Bonjean. That's the attorney that represented Bill Cosby. We're going to talk about her a little bit. And today, Kyle Rittenhouse trial have started. So we're going to hit on that also. So you can live chat with us in the chat room. Want to welcome everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. D Live is always in the house. And also we're doing our recording for anchor.fm. You can subscribe to the channel. We will have separate shows besides the ones that we do on this one, and also the results for the election that happened today. Is the numbers are starting to come in, and I haven't been able to keep up with it right now, but they are starting to come in. Hopefully, you did get out and vote. Let your voice be heard, and also it was something else I was gonna say, but I lost the train of thought. But yeah, so we're gonna hit on that. Oh, I know what it was. I did speak with one of the counselors today. We're trying to get a date together for next month. So trying to get a date together for next month, and I've been tired of doing a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna talk with the other counselor before then and see if we could get them both to come in. Um, do one this month and one next month to talk about malicious parent syndromes. So hopefully we can arrange that. But we do have one confirmed for next month. They're going to let me know exactly the date for sure. But definitely stay tuned to that, and I will give you the date as soon as I get it. So this young lady out of Dallas, 16-year-old teenager, was killed Sunday night. She was riding in a car with a couple of young females, her family members, who also were teenagers. And apparently they got into an argument with some guys in a car at a service station about something. We don't know if they knew them or not, but either one of all the guys decided to shoot inside the car. Unfortunately, this young lady lost her life. If you was in that area, it happened at the Fox service station over in Pleasant Grove, 180 Murdoch Road. And if you was in that area on Sunday night and seen anything, please notify the Dallas police, give them that information for they can catch these suspect. Now there was a off-duty Dallas police officer that was just so happened to be at the station, and he witnessed it, and he did pursue them, and they shot at him. Luckily, he wasn't hit, and ended up shooting out one of his tires, and he had to stop pursuing them. But from what Dallas police is saying, this is 3 different crime scenes: the service station, uh, where the officer car was shot, and then also um, once the shots rang out, they actually the young lady, the victims, had went to a different service station and got help there. So it's three different crime scenes on that. So if you know anything, definitely say something. I believe they said the suspect was driving a gray Honda Sonata, uh, older model. So if you know something or know someone who's driving that type of vehicle, please uh, uh, contact Dallas police and help them to catch them. This young lady lost her life, and um, sad situation. That's why we say all the time, everybody don't need guns because everybody mentally cannot handle a situation like that. And it's no justification of shooting someone, especially if they are unarmed. Um, so just because you get upset at someone does not mean that you had a right to take a life just because you get into an argument, which it doesn't make sense to me. And you have to have the right mindset to be able to carry a firearm. And unfortunately, we don't know much about these suspects. If they're older, if they teenagers, we don't know. But hopefully they catch them soon, get them off the street. Um, then also we're going to talk about R. Kelly. Yeah, he's back in the news. Well, we know that um, Bill Cosby, when R. Kelly was found guilty, um, Bill Cosby said he felt like R. Kelly was railroaded. So what R. Kelly had done is hoping to avoid a lengthy prison term, hires Bill Cosby lawyer to appeal his conviction. The disgraced singer is facing 10 years to life in prison, but is now getting help from someone experienced in a similar legal area. Um, Embattled R&B singer R. Kelly, who was convicted on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering last month, is trying to fight his way out of prison, and he has reportedly getting help from the lawyer who helped to free comedian Bill Cosby. According to the Chicago Tribune, Kelly legal team hired Jennifer Bonjean, who appeared on Cosby's sex abuse case, results in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court vacating his conviction. She reportedly appeared in the U.S. District Court in Brooklyn on October the 29th to register and will push for a new trial. Um, Kelly, 54, is suspected to be sentenced on May 4th, 2022, after Brooklyn, New York. Jury found him guilty in September of 8 counts of violating the Mann Act in an anti-sex trafficking statute, and 1 count of racketeering. He is facing 10 years to life in prison. But Bonjean told the Tribune that she is becoming increasingly concerned with how the government is abusing the RICO statute in order to plead around the statute of limitation and essentially put people's entire lives on trial. It become a formula for the government. You have a right to defend yourself against specific allegation. Cosby 83 was set free after Pennsylvania Supreme Court vacated his conviction after finding that a uh, uh, prosecution agreement had been made with a previous prosecutor on the case, which should have prevented him from ever being charged in the first place. The comedian has served more than 2 years of the 3 to 10 year sentence in Philadelphia area state prison. Post-trial motion were due November the 1st. but Bonjean has asked for a 2-month extension. U.S. District Court Judge Ann Dunley will decide whether or not to approve the extension. In Chicago, R. Kelly is also facing 13 criminal counts, including child pornography, incitement of a minor, and obstruction of justice. The trial is scheduled for August 2022. So, yeah, uh, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of court cases going on coming up in the near future. Of course, we have R. Kelly case last month, and Jesse, some more trial is coming up here pretty soon. Even um, what's his name? Show Me the Money. His trial is coming up pretty soon. Welcome to the show. T Cal is in the house. So hey, Kirk Dell made it home in the storm, and all the way I was checking to make sure uh, I yeah I didn't miss you. So I'm glad I can post up and watch it. Hey, I appreciate it. We had some issues tonight. I've been struggling since 5:23, trying to get my computer updated, and it kept for about an hour. It said 3 minutes left. That's why I put the first alert at 8:15. I'm like, all right, I give it a little time. Shoot, 8:15, it decided to restart, and it just came up about 10 minutes before I came on. So that's the type of night it been so far. Um, but uh, so that's what's going on with R. Kelly. Um, yeah, I'm on now, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be on tonight because 5 come early in the morning. If you're just not tuning in, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I mean, I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. We're gonna hit on this Kyle Rittenhouse um, trial because it started so far, and so far 3 witnesses have testified. Um, the first 3 witnesses have testified, and for the prosecution, but that's going to be an interesting case because the judge said they cannot identify the uh, the victims as victims, and he want them to be known as um, rooters. And I'm like, that don't make no sense. If they was murdered and they was unarmed, they was murdered, so they are victims. So that kind of tell you where this judge is trying to go with this trial, which I don't know much about that judge, but I would assume because Trump spoke out about it, he may be a Trump supporter. I don't know for sure. But the thing is, what people got to realize, uh, these people in these positions, what they need to realize, they need to treat every case and trial them fairly across the board. It shouldn't matter who you are, the color of your skin. Um, Treat all of them according to the crime. That's just like on Thursday, we talked about it last night. Jennifer Ryan will be sentenced. Now, she said back in March she wasn't going to get sentenced because she had blonde hair and white skin, and she's not going to jail. Now, they're going to see what happened on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. if this judge is going to sentence her to jail or not. And uh, Troy Smarts, that kind of find out he wasn't even at the Capitol Hill. He just did it online. They sentenced him to 14 months. Like I say all the time, it's a difference between black laws and white laws. Um, so we're gonna pay attention to that. But with this Kyle Rittenhouse, um, The prosecutor's first three witnesses testified Tuesday afternoon in what is likely the biggest trial in Kenosha County history. Kyle Rittenhouse, now 18, formerly of Antioch, Illinois, has been charged with 6 felonies and 1 misdemeanor. He has pled not guilty by self-defense in the August 2020 shooting of 3 men as protests ensued after the police shooting of Jacob Blake. 2 of those victims died. Rittenhouse friend Dominique Black was the state's first witness. He testified he bought the AR-15 rifle Rittenhouse used in the shooting. Black said he and Rittenhouse were part of an armed militias on August 25th that worked to defend car dealership in Kenosha. There's already controversy in this. They was part of an armed malicious group, but Kyle Rittenhouse from the beginning said they was called to be there. You see, you got to read between the line and look at everything. They stories already not adding up. They was part of an armed malicious group that went there. And as I get on down to the further of the story, it's going to change a little bit again. Said first they cleaned up graffiti. Black described Rittenhouse as like a brother to him after Black dated Rittenhouse's sister. He said the two and other friends did target practice on Black's family property in Ladysmith, Wisconsin. Black testified he and Rittenhouse agreed to keep the gun locked up at his stepfather's home in Kenosha. At the direction of prosecutor, Detective Doan blew plastic gloves and pulled rifles and rifle parts from a long white evidence box behind the prosecutor table. Excuse me. One detective held it up for Black and for juries a few feet away to get him a better look. Black said his stepfather unlocked the gun safe the night of the protest to use them for protection. Rittenhouse stayed at Black's home the night before the shooting. Black testified. Black told the court Rittenhouse called him after he shot Joseph Rosenblum. He wasn't with Rittenhouse at the time. I didn't believe the gunshot were him. He said, I shot somebody. I shot somebody. He testified. After the other 2 victims were shot, Black said he met Rittenhouse and drove him to Anaheim. He said Rittenhouse seemed scared, but he had to shoot the victim in self-defense. Black told the jury Rittenhouse never mentioned anyone attacked him with a weapon. He said Rittenhouse's mother talked about Rittenhouse fleeing to Michigan, but he got Rittenhouse to turn himself into police. After the shooting, Rittenhouse and his mother walked into an police department. As Black testified, Rittenhouse listening intently, occasionally jotting down notes that Black spoke, and then leaning over to whisper something to an attorney. Black appeared ill at ease at times, testifying for prosecutor against his friend. He occasionally darted his eyes and appeared discomfort at Rittenhouse across the room. Defense attorney Mark Richard asked Black if he hoped by testifying for the prosecutor they might not recommend prison time for the 2 felonies with which he charged for buying Rittenhouse the gun. Black said yes, but he also testified no promise had been made to him in return for his testimony. Richardson pressed Black on the moment when Rittenhouse walked out of his stepfather's home with the AR-15, and Black didn't say anything or stop him. As he cross-examined Black, Richards walked behind prosecutor, bent down, and pulled up the rifle, entered into evidence by the state earlier. Jury looked increasingly fatigued as testimony ran into the late afternoon. Some started to shift in their chairs, yawning and rubbing their eyes. So um, it's a lot more to it, but basically, the story is kind of fishy altogether because Rittenhouse claimed the whole time um, he ended up. It originally came out that he stole the gun, which it was in the safe, but also we didn't hear anything about they did target practice with the gun. And Richards is facing Black is facing two felony charges, one for buying a weapon for a minor, and yeah, I guess the other charge may be given a minor access to it or something. I'm not quite sure what the other charge is. Um, so it's going to be pretty interesting in this trial as it goes on. There's going to be more evidence to come out, and not only that, um, in one story, the lawyer, uh, the defense lawyer, um, in the opening statement, repeated the N word, basically repeating what one of the victims um, said in a video, and the lawyer felt comfortable repeating all that in court. So it's going to be interesting. I guess the trial's supposed to last for a couple of weeks. So we'll be tuning in on that. Welcome to the show, Gabe. Thank you for always tuning in. And thank you for supporting the show. What do you think about Colin Kaepernick's documentary? Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to see it yet, and but I've heard some people talk about it, and they actually say it's pretty damn good. Um, so I'm gonna try to see it this weekend. Don't know for sure. Been real busy, but it's definitely uh, uh, from what I hear, um, it's definitely a good thing to watch. So comparing the NFL combined to Slave Auction. Well, basically, what happened when you go to the combine, you're gonna go up there, you're gonna perform, show your skills, and then you turn around. The highest bidder gonna gonna get you on their team. And back during slavery, from what documents have showed us, is they will have um, some slaves fighting against each other, and the winner is the one that will go to they will fight to the death, and the winner will go to they will be sold to someone because they show so much strength um, and able to do a lot of things. So that's yeah, I can see the comparison to it. So um, T. Cal said we sure will. Uh, can we watch the clip? Uh, which clip are you talking about? Not sure what you're talking about. Um, that guy's absolutely clown. Don't know what he's talking. I didn't know he had one. I bet it is good. I've heard a lot of reviews about it, and they say it's pretty good. It made me giggle. Guy got hurt and busted in the NFL and became a social justice warrior. Well, you got to realize that wasn't his choice. Because you gotta know the whole story behind the scene. because some people, what the media portray is Colin Kaepernick, he basically took a knee to disrespect the flag. That's not the reason why he took a knee. There was actually a veteran that suggested that he took a knee, and people would pay more attention to it. And that's what he did. A veteran, a vet told him this, and that's what he did. And then he came and the people started paying attention that he was kneeling, and then they automatically assumed it was about the flag. No matter how many times he said it had nothing to do with the flag, it's about the unjust killing of black and brown people by the police, and nobody is getting upset or doing anything about it. So that's where that comes from. Now, uh, so as for him being a justice warrior, well, guess what? They blackballed him, and he never. Once he finished that season, he never played again in the NFL. Never played another season. And to be honest with you, if he wanted to come back right now, I think he'll do a hell of a lot better than most of the quarterbacks that are playing. And he's been out of the NFL for a while. And I think he'll come back and take a team to the Super Bowl. But because of the Jerry Jones of the NFL, they don't want to allow him back in there. So he had to stand up for what was right, and that's what he did. He didn't stand up just for himself, but he also stood up for um, people around America that have to deal with the injustice of policemen, and that was a good thing for him to do. Um, you do realize that the NFL players get paid millions of dollars. Yeah, I realize that, but still, it's like a slave mentality. When you have owners like Jerry Jones that don't want to accept change, that's the issue. Stuck in his old ways, shouldn't matter. Yeah, they getting paid to do a job, but at the same time, they are a human being first, because these police killing, regardless of who they are, they can actually still be killed by the police just because the color of their skin. So the owners should look at their investment also into these players, be like, hey, we don't want this to happen. But instead, Jerry Jones, he kept that going, saying, well, any players that kneel for the Cowboys won't be a Cowboy. One player raised his fist. The following week, he was cut. It was the following day, actually, he was cut. So that's why I was born a Cowboy fan. But as long as Jerry's still running it, I won't support him. That's why I don't support him. It's my choice not to support him. So, yeah, I understand they get paid plenty of dollars. Yeah, it's still, I understand why guys had to combine too, but it's the fact that they want to see what they could do, they strength and all of that. But I haven't seen the document, so I can only go by with what you putting in a comment and respond back to it. So, um, uh, but once again, it had nothing to do with the flag. See, that's what's wrong with people like you, Gabe, because you stuck on the fact that he nailed and thinking it has something to do with the flag. Well, that veteran told him, well, hey, you will get more people to pay attention if you kneel. Now, Gabe, for some reason, I feel like you one of these folks that probably drive around with American flag on the back of your vehicle, and also wear American flag Probably got some American flag draws on. That's disrespecting the flag. Matter of fact, the flag should never be laid flat. It's a lot of things you might want to check and see what disrespect the flag, and what Kaepernick did was not disrespecting the flag. But we're not finna discuss that all night. I already said it's gonna be a quick night, but you trying to start an argument that is unnecessary. You are listening to Speak On It with Kirk Dog. I mean, I'm Kirk Dog. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, not Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, D Live is always in the house. And also, you can go back and catch the shows on anchor.fm. Um, and believe me, most of the veterans have a problem. No, they don't. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. Because if they did, they would have been speaking out. That's your opinion. Only ones I heard say something um, about what Colin Kaepernick did was the ones that don't think it's a problem with police killing unarmed black and brown folks. Those are the only ones that ever spoke out about Kaepernick kneeling for the flag. He wasn't kneeling for the flag. He was kneeling to bring attention to the unjust killing of black folks. But that's your opinion. Um, well, a lot of folks, once they get injured, they never play and never be the same. Um, okay, that's your opinion. T. Cal said, I never thought of had to come down from that thought process. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch that documentary. I have a little bit of time over the weekend, so I may have to catch it Sunday. Um, so I would definitely go there. Uh, no, you don't be dumb. And like I tell you, we're gonna respect everybody's opinion. That's why the show allows you to speak your mind as long as you are respectful and bringing facts and not conspiracy theory. But then again, we talking about stuff that been going on for a long time. If if you was because if I'm not mistaken, you in Houston. So if you was went into a store with one of your friends, because y'all always say you have at least one black friend. Went into a store with your black friend, and he get targeted saying that he stole something. They not gonna even look twice at you, and you could have been the one to actually steal something. Um, Phone lines are always open, but come with facts. Do not come with foolishness, because tonight I'm not in the mood. Uh, uh, oh well, I didn't read your other comments, so don't waste your time, Gabe. Don't waste your time. Um, uh, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I have family members and friends that is also veterans, but once again, you're talking about your family member and your friends who probably had the same mind thought as you. So it wouldn't surprise me they have a problem with it. That's just a small group of folks. If if many veterans across the world had an issue with Kaepernick kneeling, they all would have been speaking out. But in your small group, they only spoke out for you. Welcome to the show, Keith Johnson out of East Texas. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. Cap for president. Hey, I think he'll do a better job than most people, especially coming up in 2024, because I know who we won't be getting back. Y'all better save y'all money. Stop wasting your money on those signs. Uh, so okay, Keith, you running for Justice of the Peace 2022? Need to get with me because um, we need to highlight you and make sure people know they need to vote for you. So reach out to me and we will um, get you on the show to talk about it and go from there. Um, Shoot me an email and make sure you put in the title um, the show or something so I'll take a look at it. And um, but yeah, definitely send me some information on that because I want to support people that uh, want to support people that is trying to make a difference in this world because we need more people like that. Unfortunately, some people have an issue with when someone take a stand and do something positive in the world, kind of like Gabe complaining about Kaepernick in this documentary, but he not looking at the reason why. Just like most people say they don't want critical race theory in schools, but when you ask them about it, they can't explain exactly what it is. They don't understand it. They just know what some of their leaders are saying. And they just go with that and run with it. But the thing is, the history of America should always be taught in school, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But some people don't want that to happen because when you talk about the true history of America got blood stains all over it for the simple fact they've done a lot of things. This land was stolen from Native American. They don't want to talk about that. So the thing is, when you bring up facts, people get pissed off and wanna get upset. But if you go and read your history, it's no reason to get upset. Um, so that's what we having to deal with. And people don't understand being a black man is hard. Now, I'm a black man that have been racial profiled several times that never been good. And I'm like, well, damn, I could have lost my life. It could have been my name, a hashtag, way before people started doing the hashtags. Because the thing is, people feel that a black person shouldn't have certain things, shouldn't drive certain cars, uh, they shouldn't live in certain places. If they are, they must be a drug dealer. They doing something illegal. Kind of like the judge out of Alabama we talked about last night. He thought um, one of the people that work at the courts with him because he got a new car and asked the man if he was a drug dealer. How you gonna ask if I'm a drug dealer and I'm working in the courthouse with you? So that's the mindset we need to get rid of, and we need to make sure people understand that hey, we're not taking this no more. We're going to make a change. That's why I talk about voting so much because not only a huge election, presidential election, stuff like that, we need to vote on every election. We had 8 amendments that was on the ballot for the last 2 weeks, and they voted. Today was the primary for that. So hopefully people took the time out their schedule and vote and not depending on uh, myself and a small group of folks going to vote to get it to either stop it or pass it. You got to stand up yourself and go vote for yourself. That's why these small election, they don't go out and talk about them. They don't pay money to place ads on them because they know people won't show up and vote. I know Virginia, they have a heated race going on in Virginia, picking the governor. Uh, they have on the ballot they could get the first black casino resort there, but it's not going to pass if Virginia didn't get off their tail and went and vote today. Texas had 8 amendments that was on the ballot. Either they're gonna pass it with us or without us. So we need to go out, vote the right way, and don't depend on someone else to be able to pass these laws without us letting our voice be heard. How you let your voice be heard? Get up and go vote. It don't take long. It was 8 amendments. It probably take you every bit of 7.5, 8 minutes to go in there and vote. Do your homework before you go to the polls, for you know exactly what you're voting on. And some people just don't want to do that. They just, oh, my vote won't count. Yeah, it won't count if you don't get out and vote. Kind of like Keith Johnson. Okay, he's running for office next year. Well, guess what? He had my support, for the simple fact we're not in the same area, but I can do my part in getting his name out there to let people know, hey, if you're in this area, you need to vote for Keith Johnson. Vote for him. And just like anybody else that came on the show that was running, um, I asked them the same thing. What are you going to do for the community? I would ask Keith the same thing, because I don't care who you are, what party you represent. If you running for an official office, well, guess what? We need to ask you these questions. Everybody don't have access to get to you, but if you come on the show, I'm gonna ask these questions. I'm gonna make it available where people can call in from your area and ask these questions. What are you gonna do for the community? What changes are you gonna do? So the thing is, it's just the fact of getting up off your tail and going to vote. That's it. If you like what he's saying, great. If you don't, great. If him and his opponent wanted to come on here and have a debate, that's cool too. But the thing is, we as the people need to be the one to make that decision who we're going to put in that position. And the only way you can do it, not by talking about it, but by getting up off your butt and going to vote. That's the most important thing. Um, Keith said, okay, I got you, sir. TK said, I hear the Kirk dog don't deal with foolishness. I don't. I don't. Um, because here it is. Gabe is a troll. During the election last year, him and he called in, but he didn't want to talk. He let his daddy talk for him. But you doing all the talking in the chat. So the thing is, everybody's welcome on this show. I don't care what party you're a part of, but one thing you will do is be respectful and come with facts. That's it. That's it. Um, I agree with you because I hate to say it, the brother was wrong. Troy Smarts or something like that. Can't remember his last name. He was wrong for what that uh, social media posts he put out making threats on January 6th and all of that. He was wrong. He got 14 months. Okay, he do the crime, he do the time. But here, little Becky though, um, Jennifer Ryan, she facing 6 months. She was at the Capitol saying it's the best day of her life. And said for years she had been promoting violence, and she only facing 6 months. That don't add up right. Something wrong with that picture. She was there. Said it's the best day of her life. And then to make that comment about she's blonde, white skin, a great job, a great career. She not going to jail. But we're gonna find out on Thursday. And if that judge don't do what he's supposed to do, well, guess what? We had a right to vote him off that bench. And that's what we need to do. Because he's one of those types that would have somebody that look like me come in front of him and give them a harsher sentence, and give somebody who looked like Jenny Ryan and get him a slap on the wrist. So we definitely need to uh, make sure we take a stand on it and hold that judge accountable. They say the most she can get is 6 months. Well, she need to serve every day of that 6 months, every day. Now I'm gonna say this, and I hope I'm wrong. I feel like the judge gonna give her a couple of days, say time served. But I feel like on each one of these people background, they need to have in a criminal background terrorists, because that's what they are, domestic terrorists. That's exactly what they try to do, try to overthrow our government. That's a terrorist act. But they trying to say picketing and all of that. No, call it like it is. Every time it was a BLM protest, oh, look at those uh, routers and looters. And even Trump said, if they loot, we shoot. Poor example of a leader, but okay. Um, so they need to be held accountable. That's the bottom line to it. T-Cal said, exactly, because we talk about the Holocaust. See, some people don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with it. Keith Johnson said, my motto is don't vote, don't complain. You get what you get if you don't vote. What people fail to realize, and I say it all the time, our laws are based upon our local election. If you don't get out and vote for your local election, they can pass any laws they want because they know you're not going to get out and vote. They know this. So to prevent this, we need to vote every election. I don't care what they vote on. They could be voting if we want a kite park. It doesn't matter. Get out and let your voice be heard. Hopefully you feel good that, hey, I did something to make a difference in my community. T-Cal said it took us 7 minutes. 7 minutes to vote. I think it took me about the same time. Majority of it was getting checked in. They verified who I was. Checking the computer. Oh, yeah, you in our district. Okay. Pick a ballot and go in, read what's on there, and you out of there. And get your sticker and go. Once you slide your ballot into the counter, you get your sticker and go. And the worker, before I left, he told me, he said, look, if you know anybody haven't voted or don't know there's a voting going on, please let them know. We need to vote. And he had a mindset like me. I don't care how they vote, just let them come and vote. And what happened is and I'm gonna flip it over to Greg, because how they closing polls down in certain areas of Houston last year, if they don't have the numbers to represent that community, yes, they can legally close the polls down because it would cost them too much money to have the polls open all that time just for a handful of folks to come in there to vote. We got to get up and vote. It don't take long. Like Keith said, don't vote, don't complain. That's how we look at it. Don't vote, don't complain. T-Cal said, haha, his dad. Oh yeah, his daddy called in. I forgot the name of the show, but we was talking about Trump. And I think his daddy called in and talked for almost an hour. Almost an hour. We had a good conversation. Very good conversation. And they always say at the end, Kurt Dog, I appreciate the way you do everything because you let everybody have a voice. As long as you are respectful, I'm okay with it. We can have a dialogue. We may not agree with everything everybody's saying, but even his daddy, by the time we got off the phone, he agreed with a lot of stuff I was saying because I had him thinking about what I was saying, and he didn't hear it from my point of view. But people, they would go and they will say certain things and run with it, and that's all they will say. That's why these videos are starting to show up now, talking about this um, critical race theory. And you ask people why you don't like it. Some of them say, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know enough about it. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. His daddy had the bottle of the baby. That baby, yes, he is that baby. I'm like this. I don't. Gabe, he come in the other night. He came in. Think it was last week. He was telling somebody, "You ready?" Whoever his friend or whatever, and they try to troll me. But then when I started knowing him, I don't pay attention to him. I'm like, yeah, he made comments, but what he failed to realize, I'm not about the numbers. Yeah, I would love to have numbers that other people have, but some people is afraid of facts. They don't want to hear the truth. And when you are speaking the truth, you're not going to get the same results as if somebody who's doing some other things that may not be what I'm about. Um, yeah, I've said times before, if I did some ranching stuff on here, yeah, the numbers will shoot up. But I'm about bringing knowledge to people and trying to help people to understand the things that we deal with. And that always make people feel uncomfortable. Now, for me, it don't make me feel uncomfortable because I've experienced these things. And I'm not going to um, caress your ego and make you feel okay because I'm speaking what I've gone through or what's going on in the world that not on, affect my community. And I'm talking about my community worldwide because if you black, you're a target. And people don't want to look at it like that. So my whole thing is the fact that we need to talk about it. Because if nobody talk about it, well, we'll never hear about it. We will never hear about it. That's kind of like here in Dallas. Um, a couple of weeks ago, a Dallas fireman, um, a video came out that happened over a year ago where he kicked a homeless man. Um, and as he kicked this homeless man, now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the guy ended up quitting and getting fired, but he also needed to be charged. Not only him, Not only him, because there was a police officer there, and it was his body camera that caught him. That officer should have did something right then and there when it happened. And that officer need to be brought to justice. So hopefully that fireman do get charged and end up standing trial. Yeah, I know the headlines say he was homeless and all of this, but I believe what happened is he came up, woke the guy up, and the guy turned around like, whoa. And the fireman got upset, kicked him and all of this. But if you come up and wake somebody up and they're not expecting for you to be there, they are gonna jump. And bad enough, you homeless, you don't know if someone's trying to attack you or not. But to kick that man like that, and I know farmers have been trained to deal with this for the simple fact when they have somebody who have overdosed and they get them that Norcan and they wake up, but they not in a right frame of mind. So you gotta have compassion for somebody like that. But he didn't. That's why he's in the position he's in now. And hopefully they charge him. Um, Keith said, I laugh at the foolish one. I do too. I do. At first, I'm not gonna even lie to you. When I first started doing this show, um, matter of fact, we coming up on 2 years next year, the first of next year. And time flies, but coming up on 2 years. When I first started, and some of the comments I was getting, I was like, oh Lord. Especially after I did the story of Back the Blue showing up at Friendship West last year. I think I answered comments for about a month. And some of the things they said, I'm like, you know what? Now I'm like, forget it. I'm going to say what I say. Thank you for watching, supporting the show. Hey, share, subscribe, click the notification. Um, I'm just not going to deal with foolishness. And if you have a problem about someone speaking their truth, that's the issue you have to deal with. And that's all to it. But tomorrow night, hopefully I won't have no issue like I did tonight. And we'll be on at 8 tomorrow. So hopefully I won't have no issue because I had said a couple of days ago it was time to update the computer and got a notification last week. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait. So I did it today and it just took 4 hours to do it. So that's a long time. But other than that, I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Please like, share, tell a friend if you're on a platform to give um, hearts and all of that. Definitely do it. Support the show. The best way you can support it is tell a friend. And if it's ever any subject you want us to talk about, definitely let us know. As soon as I get the dates locked in for the malicious parent syndrome show, we're going to talk about it because it's a lot of people that is hurting. If you want to be a part of that show, definitely let me know. We can have a panel where people can talk about different things with a live counselor on the show to help us discuss it. You can shoot me an email at whouywith@kurtdog@mail.com. That's WHOWITHCURTDOG@mail.com. And you can be a part of that panel and we can have a discussion and hopefully we can help someone. And if you are a licensed counselor and if you would like to be on the show to talk about different subjects because mental illness is real, you can also be a part of the show and have you come on from time to time as well. So other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, T. Cal. Said good show as always. Thank y'all for tuning in. I love each and every one of you. Until tomorrow night, if the good Lord say the same. Peace.